In a world marked by war, persecution, and loss, it's easy to believe hope has disappeared. Yet, again and again, we find that Christian hope burns brightest in the darkest moments. Today's story, Hope Amid the Rubble, takes us into the heart of suffering and shows how faith rises from the ashes. It's inspired by the experiences of Neville Kyrke-Smith, who spent more than 3 decades helping persecuted Christians around the world through the charity Aid to the Church in Need. Across the world, millions of Christians still face violence simply for their faith. In northern Nigeria alone, more believers are killed for Christ than anywhere else. In just 12 years, over 43,000 Christians have lost their lives. More than 17,000 churches and 2,000 schools have been attacked. Over 4 million people forced to flee their homes. These are not just numbers. They are stories of families who still cling to Jesus, even when everything else is gone. In 2016, in northern Iraq, an 89-year-old woman sat outside her small stone home, escaping the desert heat. Her village had just fled from ISIS attacks. When a visitor passed by, she looked up and said quietly, in Aramaic, the language of Christ, "I am praying for you. Will you pray for me?" Just 10 minutes away, ISIS forces were approaching. Yet this woman, who had lost everything, still offered prayer for a stranger. Hope was alive, even with danger at her doorstep. Later that same day, refugees from ISIS were found sheltering in a half-built office block in Rubble. The owner, a compassionate Muslim businessman, had given it to the local church to house families. Among them was an elderly Yazidi woman who whispered, "If not for Father, I would have died, like so many of my family." In the next room sat a young student named Nariman, who had fled Mosul with her family. When asked, "Do you still have hope?" she smiled and replied, "Of course we have hope. We are Christians. We have hope in Jesus." In a building without windows or doors, surrounded by fear, her words were a window into heaven. In Lebanon, another woman named Montaha had escaped from Syria with her sick husband and children as ISIS advanced. When asked how she endured it all, she said simply, "We have the faith of Jesus and Mary, we are still alive." These testimonies, from women who lost nearly everything, remind us that hope is not a feeling. It is a choice, a faith that breathes even under rubble. Around the world, persecuted Christians live this truth. The way of Christ is the way of the cross, but also the way of resurrection. Hope is not the absence of pain. It is the belief that God's love is stronger than suffering, and that light always follows the tomb. In his document Spes Non Confundit, Hope Does Not Disappoint, Pope Francis writes, "Hope is born of love and based on the love springing from the pierced heart of Jesus upon the cross." He reminds us that the Church walks beside those who suffer, embracing especially our brothers and sisters in the East who still bear their own way of the cross today. In this year of hope, may we learn from their courage. Because hope is not found in comfort, it is found in Christ, who meets us in the rubble and raises us again. Hope does not disappoint. Romans 5:5.
Remember to subscribe, like, and share.